Hello and very warm welcome at Amish Cycle 5858. I am Amish Cycle. Foreign news have been reported by American, European, Asian, African, Australian news channels and the news agencies. So please let's go to the headlines.
BBC's World News Tonight, America's most watched newscast. Now streaming same day with all the breaking news of the day. Disney Plus, most watched, most trusted. Now on Disney Plus every night.
Tonight, breaking news, the violent tornado outbreak and the multi-day threats and raging wildfires forcing more families from their homes. New tornado watches and warnings as we come on tonight. Nearly 20 reported tornadoes in the past 24 hours. A monster EF4 slamming Enid, Oklahoma. Winds up to 170 miles per hour. Dozens of homes destroyed. Rescuers searching for the injured. Our weather team tracking powerful severe storms ripping across the plains to the Midwest and heavy rain moving into the Northeast. Plus the fast-moving wildfires exploding in the Southeast. New evacuation orders tonight and what we're learning about the death of a firefighter. New details on the Army commando involved in the top-secret mission to capture Venezuela's President Maduro, facing a judge today, accused of using classified information to bet on the operation, what we've just learned. The war in Iran tonight, the White House now sending two top envoys to Pakistan. One of Iran's lead negotiators will be there too. But the big question, will the two sides actually meet? And tonight, the Pentagon doubling down on the blockade. Breaking new details in the case of two Florida grad students missing for more than a week. Tonight, a suspect in custody after one student was found dead. The urgent search tonight for the second still missing. The dramatic new video coming in. A police officer pulled into a suspect's car during a wild confrontation of a reported robbery. The urgent new warning to Texas summer camps after those catastrophic floods. The heartbreaking tribute from the son of Rob and Michelle Reiner, calling his grief over their murders allegedly by his brother a living nightmare. A family car flipping over. Good Samaritans racing in to help, pulling a baby out of the wreckage. And it's night 2 of the NFL draft. The emotion, the excitement, and the lives forever changed.
The Las Vegas Raiders select Fernando Mendoza.
Plus the new world record set inside the stadium in Pittsburgh today.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Africa News. The news. Friday reiterated that the right to life is guaranteed.
South African authorities have vowed to crack down xenophobic attacks targeting foreign nationals, including Ghanaians, following growing concern over violent incidents shared on social media. Officials said Friday tensions escalated after mentioned part of police notified and arrested and prosecuted Foreign Minister Ronald Lamola now incidents, stressing that violence against migrants has no place in a democratic society. Authorities says police high alert of accused of being a coup to defend the being more than 30 officers were brought to a military facility behind closed doors. Government
towards the signing of the Protocol on Humanitarian Access and Judicial Protection to honour their commitments so that this agreement can be conducted swiftly, with a view to ending the suffering of the civilian populations affected by the conflict. Coming at a time when the ceasefire monitoring mechanism is struggling to gain traction, his visit carries significant symbolic weight. Ceasefire is that essentials be met in order to communication mechanism plus to operate in a critical, safe and effective to provide technical support to the fire monitoring mechanism, including South Kivu.
Ces conditions de cessation.
These conditions include the cessation.
Having used the efforts to revive U.S.-Iran talks underway, U.S. negotiator Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner border attacks between Israel and Lebanon persisting, despite both sides agreeing to extend their ceasefire. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowing to press on with his campaign, accusing Hezbollah of sabotaging the truce. And China and Thailand agreed to boost cooperation in various fields during Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi's trip to the country. He's expected to visit Myanmar next as part of his three-nation tour of Southeast Asia. And that's the latest from the CNA Newsroom.
This is Sky News, the headlines. Iran's foreign minister has arrived in Pakistan, where an American delegation is due to arrive later today. Iran says there's no plans for talks, but the US Defense Secretary says it's time to make a deal.
Iran has a historic deal. Ball is in their court.
Angered by the UK's stance on the war in Iran, the US considers reviewing the British claim to Falkland Islands, while Argentina says it reaffirms its rights over the territory. Also ahead, the assisted dying bill runs out of parliamentary time, but campaigners say they're not giving up. And the clinical trial to treat former soldiers with ecstasy to help them recover from post-traumatic stress disorder. Hello and welcome. Could peace talks be back on the table between Iran and the United States? Donald Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff and son-in-law Jared Kushner will travel to Pakistan later today to meet the Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi in the capital Islamabad. The Iranian delegation arrived in Pakistan a little earlier, but they say there's no plans for talks. The US president.
Today, Australians gather to commemorate Anzac Day to honour the nation's servicemen and women. Some services were marred by hecklers booing during Welcome to Country addresses.
That was the most appalling act that I have ever seen at a dawn service, and I apologise unreservedly.
US envoys head to Pakistan for new peace talks with Iran's foreign minister. A group of Australians with links to former Islamic State fighters leave a Syrian refugee camp in a fresh attempt to return to Australia. And 20 years on, remembering the Beaconsfield mine rescue, which captured. Hello, welcome to ABC News. I'm Melissa McKay. Australians have paused to reflect on the bravery and sacrifice.
I can't. Pakistan again tomorrow morning to engage in direct talks intermediated by the Pakistanis, who have been incredible friends and mediators throughout this entire process, with representatives from the Iranian delegation. Look, the Iranians reached out, as the president called on them to do, and asked for this in-person conversation.
Vance is on standby and will go to close. JD's counterpart, the head of the parliament, has been sidelined. They're playing good cop, bad cop. Deal or no deal, Pete's ready for war.
Our blockade is only growing and going global. And as the president said, we have all the time in the world. Iran has a historic chance to make a serious deal, and the ball is in their court. Either way, the War Department stands ready for what comes next, locked and loaded.
The commander-in-chief's given out shoot-to-kill orders, so the Mosquito fleet better watch their six.
President Trump has authorized the United States Navy to destroy any Iranian fast boats that attempt to put mines in the water or disrupt passage through the Strait of Hormuz, to shoot and kill. Our commanders have clear rules of engagement. If Iran is putting mines in the water or otherwise threatening American commercial shipping or American forces, we will shoot to destroy. No hesitation, just like the drug boats in the Caribbean.
The Navy currently undertaking a major minesweeping operation in the Gulf with the best tech money can buy.
That involves unmanned underwater vehicles, which are essentially, looks like a torpedo, essentially, and it, transits the certain area with side-scan sonar, synthetic aperture sonar, and it looks for any sort of shapes in the water. It's not an easy task. You got to remember that this danger.
Friday night, pipeline project approved, where this new expansion will be transporting natural gas.
This will enable us to heat more homes, businesses, and hospitals and schools.
Plus what it means for jobs and the economy. Apology to Tumbler Ridge, the message from OpenAI's CEO after February's deadly mass shooting. Biopic backlash.
I love my family. I just want to do my own thing.
Why a new movie about pop superstar Michael Jackson is sparking controversy. And Monster Marathon.
Night 3 was the hardest night. I was puking for 2 hours.
This Canadian ultra-marathoner's grueling, record-breaking run.
Global National. Reporting tonight, Jeff Semple.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. The federal government has approved a multi-billion-dollar natural gas pipeline expansion project on Canada's west coast. Ottawa says it will create thousands of jobs and add $3 billion to the economy. But the opposition says the government isn't moving fast enough. Our David Aiken joins us with the details on the pipeline. David.
It's called the Sunrise Project, Jeff, a $4 billion venture to expand the natural gas pipeline system in BC. Sunrise is owned by Enbridge and 38 First Nations. The project includes the addition of about 139 kilometers of new pipeline by constructing 11 pipeline looping segments parallel to an existing pipeline between Chetwynd and the U.S. border south of Chilliwack. Sunrise will increase BC's natural gas transportation capacity by about 8%, or 300 million cubic feet per day.
This will enable us to heat more homes, businesses, and hospitals and schools in British Columbia. In addition to providing gas for electric power generation, industrial manufacturing processes which are expanding.
It will also feed the wood fiber LNG export facility now under construction near Squamish, BC.
The Sunrise Project will add more than $3 billion to Canada's GDP and generate over $700 million in tax revenues.
The government's political opponents, though, are not about to give the Carney government any credit.
This is an expansion of an existing project that took far too long for the Liberals to consider. Unfortunately, Mark Carney has kept in place all of Trudeau's anti-development laws.
But Natural Resources Minister Tim
Laudator Jesus Christus, Vatican and World News.
In the headlines.
headlines this Friday, April 24th. Returning to Rome from Africa, Pope Leo XIV addresses a wide range of topics, including the conflict in the Middle East. A DRC cardinal expresses his pride, hope, and optimism about the outcome of the Pope's journey, and the Latin Patriarchate of Jerusalem issues a statement against Israeli settler encroachments. In the Vatican, I'm Isabella de Carvalho. On Thursday evening, April 24th, Pope Leo XIV returned to the Vatican after his 11-day apostolic journey across
This is DW News. Our top stories. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has said a U.S. blockade on Iran is going global, adding no one sails from the Strait of Hormuz to anywhere in the world without permission from the U.S. Navy. Meanwhile, the Reuters news agency reported that internal Pentagon emails revealed Washington is considering punitive measures against NATO members who have refused to help in the war against Iran. EU leaders meeting in Cyprus have expressed skepticism over German Chancellor Friedrich Merz's proposal to gradually ease sanctions on Iran in return for opening the Strait of Hormuz and ending threats to Israel. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said Tehran would have to de-escalate the conflict, eliminate its nuclear threat, and end the oppression of its own people. The U.S. Justice Department is dropping its investigation into Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell over alleged building cost overruns. The move could clear the way for Donald Trump's pick Kevin Warsh to be the next chair of the Fed. A key Republican leader withheld his support for Warsh unless the probe was dropped. Powell's term is nearing its end, and the U.S. Senate is considering Trump's nominee for his replacement.
Thank you for watching. I'm Shakil 5858. I hope you will come again. Have a good life. Bye-bye.